Welcome to our YouTube channel of La Cité Church in Paris. I am Frédéric Dallet, and we are delighted to be able to interact with you in this way. Subscribe to our channel, like the videos, share it, and we want to continue interacting with you in this way. So we want to continue today our revision series, coming back to the call of God, coming back to the vision that God has. And it's a delight to do this because we want to hear from Him. We want the vision to be clearer in all of us, and it's good occasionally to do that from time to time. So we talked about being a church that is contagious, that is entrusted with the message of the gospel, the message of reconciliations. We are ambassadors for Christ. We talked about a church that is constructive, that is laying good foundations, a church where there is teaching, where people are growing up in maturity. And we often undervalue maturity, and we need to grow up and to become fully what God has intended for us. We also talked about a church that is contributing, that is generous. We want to be an actor in society, not just a spectator. We talked about a church that is colorful, that is rich in its diversity, where everyone has a place, everyone has belonging. We want to honor the gifts and talents without discriminating on race or education or wealth. And today I want to talk about being a church that is connected. And I'm not talking about a church connected on social media and through technology, but a church that is connected to the head, to Jesus Christ. We're not here for our plans. We're not here for ourselves. We're here for His plans. We want to be directed, we want to be submitted to His Lordship, to His will, to His leading. And we want to be connected to the head of a church, which is Jesus. This necessitates, it requires a true relationship with Christ, an intimate relationship with Christ, with our hands open to say, whatever we have, it belongs to you. We want to do your will, we don't want to do our will. And we see this in the church in Antioch. So let's read from Acts chapter 13, verse 2 and 3. While they were worshipping the Lord and fasting, the Holy Spirit said, "Set apart for me Barnabas and Saul for the work to which I have called them." So after they had fasted and prayed, they placed their hands on them and sent them off. So we see several things in this passage. Firstly, that they had spiritual disciplines in place, or we like to call it habits of grace here at La Cité. They were worshipping the Lord, they were fasting, and it means they were putting in place some spiritual discipline, and they were visibly sensitive to the voice of God because they heard the Holy Spirit say. They were connected to the head, they were connected to God, and they could discern His voice, they could discern His leading. And often when God comes, He will disturb our plans, and it's not going to be convenient. But what we see secondly is that they were ready to submit to His will. And it's not always the best thing to send our best. And I'm sure Barnabas and Saul were amongst the best of the leaders in Antioch. They were certainly great teachers. We see this later on. And sometimes God comes to disturb our plans, and it doesn't make sense. But God's wisdom is way above our wisdom. His plans are way bigger than ours, and we need to submit to His plans even when it doesn't seem to make sense. And I love that they laid their hands on Barnabas and Saul and they sent them off. And we want to be a church submitted, connected to the head, connected to Jesus, and submitted to His plans. Paul describes himself in Romans 1 verse 1 as a servant of Jesus Christ. And that word actually means a slave. It means I don't have a choice for my life. I will do what you call me to do. It means that his life did not belong to him. He belonged to someone else. He was submitted to the will of God. Jesus Himself said that he acts in accordance to what the Father has called Him to do. And He even says the things that the Father has told Him to say. Even his tone of voice is directed by the Father. So even Jesus was fully submitted to the lordship of his Father, and we want to be fully submitted to the lordship of Christ. So we want to be connected as a church to the head of a church, to his leading. We want to be sensitive to the voice of the Holy Spirit as he speaks to us and through his word. We are here, we're living for the glory of God, not for ourselves. We want to be a church that is connected to the head,